Hi everyone. So if you might have seen my last video, I had dealt with all those problems that happen while teething, and I concluded my video with the topic of ectopic eruption, and I thought it would be nice if I could give some details regarding that too. So here we'll be discussing with some points and some factors that cause ectopic eruption or a misplaced tooth. So first we need to understand what does an ectopic eruption mean. So ectopic eruption means that your tooth has erupted in a place where it shouldn't have erupted. That means it has erupted either in the palate or it has also erupted at some other tooth's position. For example, the canines have erupted in the position of incisors, like that. So if you have checked my last video, I had ended my topic with the local factors that are responsible for causing ectopic eruption. If you haven't, I have given the link in the description box. You can check that too. So today I shall try and discuss all the factors, basically the local factors that are responsible for ectopic eruption. And the first and foremost in that category is that the teeth are larger than normal. That means, as you can see the picture here also, obviously if your tooth is larger in size, it's going to go and encroach the space of the adjacent teeth as well, and that will lead to crowding, right? The teeth will be congested, and that will cause the tooth to ectopically erupt. That means it will push away the tooth from its normal position, or it will basically cause the tooth to deviate from its normal position and erupt wherein it finds adequate space for eruption. Or there can also be a situation which makes our second point of local factor, wherein the bone is smaller than normal. That means your teeth size is absolutely fine, but the bone wherein the teeth has to erupt, that bone size is small. That means if the bone size is small, the arch size will eventually be small, and this will again lead to congestion or crowding amongst the teeth. Or they can also be a situation wherein your maxilla or the upper jaw, that is your maxilla, which is called as the upper jaw in normal language, is placed posteriorly with relation to the cranial base. That means the arrow that you're seeing on your screens right now, if your upper jaw is pushed back or it is placed backwards than its normal position, so that also reduces the space wherein the teeth usually erupt, and that loss of space again will cause the tooth to deviate from its normal position and erupt elsewhere, right? Now the other factor can be wherein the angulation of the tooth is abnormal. That means the direction in which the tooth should actually be oriented for eruption, that angle of orientation or the direction of orientation is deviated and it is placed in some other direction, then obviously the tooth will erupt in that particular direction itself. Okay, now this is quite interesting. It's called as PFE, that is primary failure of eruption. Now in this, what's seen is there's no space problem. That means the tooth has got adequate space for eruption, and there's no barrier problem also. That means there's no kind of hard tissue or soft tissue barrier in the path of eruption of the tooth. Even then the tooth doesn't erupt. The reason for it is not known, but genetic cause has been related to it, but even then it's not clear. So now just imagine if a tooth is not erupting. Obviously, the adjacent tooth will have more than enough space for it to erupt, and it will end up erupting anywhere. Basically, even encroaching sometimes to the position of the tooth which has not erupted. Okay, so you might find this point quite weird, but this really happens. And I've seen many cases in my clinical practice also. So this is called as supernumerary tooth. That means in your milk tooth, you have 20 teeth, and in your permanent teeth set, you have 32 teeth. But in certain cases, in certain children, there are more than 32 or there are more than 20 teeth. It's usually, most commonly, it's seen in the permanent set of dentition only. So there are more than 32 teeth. Now just imagine you have a limited space that's designed for the eruption of 32 teeth. Obviously, what's going to happen if you have more than 32 teeth but no space for them? Again, crowding, and if not crowding, then the teeth will erupt somewhere else wherein it finds space. Or sometimes this also happens that the supernumerary tooth, that is the extra tooth that is present, that erupts in the normal tooth's position, and the actual tooth that had to erupt in its position, it's deviated and it erupts somewhere else in the mouth, in the palate, or usually in the lower jaw, behind the teeth, in the tongue area. So anywhere it can erupt. Okay, now this term is becoming quite common. You must have heard about impaction or impacted teeth, wherein the tooth is impacted. That means it is placed in an abnormal position inside the jaw itself. So as you can see in this picture, instead of being erected vertically, this tooth is sleeping, is lying horizontally. Now when that happens, obviously if the eruption forces continue to act, this will erupt somewhere else, ectopically erupt, or not erupt at all and disturb the adjacent teeth and cause that to erupt somewhere else. So either of this can happen. So those were the factors that are responsible for ectopic eruption. And this ectopic eruption is most commonly seen in the permanent first molar that's present in the upper jaw, the lateral incisors that are present in the lower jaw, and then the canines, the maxillary canines. They are also most commonly seen to be ectopically erupted. And the reason for the maxillary canine to be ectopically erupted is, first, it's having the longest path of eruption. That means it is way high inside your upper jaw. And second, because it's the last to develop and erupt. That means all your teeth have already erupted in your mouth and the maxillary permanent canines are the last to erupt. So before its eruption, basically the entire space has been utilized by all the other teeth. So these two factors contribute to canine erupting ectopically. That means erupting somewhere else. As you can see in the picture, can you see it is erupting somewhere inside the gums? So these two are basically the reasons for canine to ectopically erupt. Then I'm sure most of you must have seen this scenario. It's really commonly seen, and that's called as the lingual eruption of the permanent incisor. That means the permanent set of incisor that is erupting in the mouth, it is erupting from the direction of the tongue or from the side of the tongue. And this is most commonly seen, in fact, in 98% of the cases, it's usually seen in the lower jaw. And the reason for it is not known, but the most common reason that has been attributed to it is that inside the bone also, the tooth germ of the permanent tooth is placed lingually. That means at the tongue side, and that is why it erupts in that side itself. Usual cases, it erupts in this side and it is pushed outside by the force of the tongue. But wherein the tongue force is not sufficient enough, it stays here, and in that case the removal of the primary or the milk teeth that are present in front, that needs to be done. And once this is done, the tongue will push this in its normal position and will get back to its normal position. So that's it. I have covered all the possible factors that lead to ectopic eruption and also the most common scenarios that can be seen with regards to ectopic eruption. Hope you liked it. Hope you understood it, because that's my main intention of making the common man understand what's happening in his or her child's mouth. That's it for today. Take care. Thank you.